talking about your own death, well, that's not one of the easiest things, right? Not comfortable, but depending on the actions you take now, it could be the difference, a big difference once you're gone to help your family, your friends, or the business that you may be leaving behind. We're joined by Kimberly Bell, an agent with State Farm, to talk about the importance of life insurance and why it's beneficial to get it now rather than later. She's going to talk about all the complexities, and guess what? She's answering your questions as well. You can text in your questions to our expert to 336-379-5775, and you will be able to get your question answered here on TV. All right, so Kimberly, let's just kind of talk about, like, first and foremost, just what is life insurance?
Honestly, life insurance is just your final love letter to your family, right? So, when you no longer are here and, they no longer depend on your income, what can you do for them? Especially with big ticket items like mortgages, cars, car payments, debt, things of that nature, sending kids to college. So life insurance is definitely something you want to put in place to ensure your family's financial security.
Okay, so let's talk about the different kinds of life insurance, because there are different kinds of life insurance, and that seems to get complicated too. So kind of let's go down the list of the types of life insurance and then who best benefits from those.
Yes, absolutely. So there's multiple types of life insurances that you can purchase for your family. First and foremost, is term insurance, right? So it's simple, it's affordable, it's that just in case policy. It provides the coverage that you need to, for a specific time period that covers, maybe 10, 15, 20, 30 years while you're raising your kids, while you're paying off a mortgage. And that's what our term life insurance is for. So I like to tell everyone that it's something, think about it as a temporary policy, right? That's why we call it term. So then we also have something called a whole life policy, which is more on the permanent side. And you can think of a whole life policy as a lifetime companion. It is with you for your entire life as long as you're making your premium payments. And the best part about the whole life or the permanent policies is that it builds a cash value over time. So it gives you the opportunity to loan against that cash value, borrow, or even just withdraw from that cash value balance. And then, of course, there's always final expense, right? You just want your family to be left behind with memories of you and not funeral bills. And that's what final expense does.
Okay, all right, gotcha. All right, so for people out there who are like, I'm single, or my kids are grown, or whatever, who should be considering life insurance?
Everyone should be considering life insurance, honestly. Life insurance is not just for parents, it's not just for older adults, but honestly, it's for anyone who depends on you. So if you have a family, if you have a partner, if you have a significant other, even if you have a business, anyone that depends on your income, you should definitely have a life insurance policy in place in the event that something were to happen, so that they are able to replace that income, right? So they're able to still maintain their lifestyle that they currently have. They're still able to pay the mortgage. They're still able to keep the business afloat. And then, if you're single, now is the time. If you're young, you're single, securing that coverage today locks in lower rates while you're healthy, and it just starts a really smart financial foundation.
Okay, so you are charged X amount of dollars more or whatever if you're older when you take out the life insurance policy.
Absolutely. Honestly, the older you get, the more expensive it becomes. So I tell everyone, take a look at your budget, right? If you're going out every day and you're buying a cup of coffee, trust me, you can roll in a life insurance policy into that budget as well. We have a life insurance policy that fits every budget.
Okay, let's talk about this. And this is kind of a difficult subject. What about life insurance for children?
Oh, one of my favorite topics is talking about life insurance for children, because it's not just about the coverage. It is about setting your children up for the future, right, financially, and giving them a financial head start. A permanent policy for a child allows them to have a nest egg in the future that they can utilize towards college expenses, that they can utilize towards maybe starting a small business, or even putting a down payment on a home or a car. So what we like to do is we like to take permanent policies like a whole life policy, place them on the child, and I mean, from the age of 5 years old until they're well into adulthood, they can utilize these policies for a multitude of things. So, and starting them early actually gives them the opportunity to lock in that coverage at a lower rate.
Okay, because if you get a whole life insurance policy, like you said, there's that savings component. So if you stop paying on it or whatever, you have like whatever that money was that was in that savings account.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And then we can get more into detail with those whole life policies, but there's also something called a guaranteed insurability option with State Farm. And that just allows our children, once we lock them into that whole life policy, they have the opportunity to increase their life insurance coverage with no underwriting, just the additional amount that goes towards the budget.
All right, what are some like common myths about life insurance?
Oh gosh, some of the things that I typically hear is that I'm not eligible or I can't afford it, right? So again, we have life insurance policies that fit every budget. What we like to do is look at, what you can afford and what your life insurance needs to cover. But I can guarantee you there's something that we can find that'll fit every budget. But then also we have individuals who think that life insurance is just not for them. Maybe they have some type of health condition or something like that. But again, depending on your medical history, that is always something that we can work around to get you into an affordable policy.
Okay, all right. So we're going to talk about, how much you should aim to pay for life insurance. Plus, I'm starting to get a whole bunch of questions. If you've got a question, this is your time to ask it. 336-379-5775. We'll be right back.